here today to do a review of this book, Damsel by Evelyn Skye. And this novel just came out this year, 2023, and it's already been picked up to become a Netflix movie starring Millie Bobby Brown, aka 11 from Stranger Things, aka Enola Holmes from those two movies. And even though I typically say that the book is always better than the movie, I am excited to see this film when it debuts. All right, so what is this book and future movie all about? Well, our lead character is Elodie. Elodie is from a poor duchy called Enofe. Their number one export is guano, aka bat and bird poop. And Elodie and her sister Floria have grown up more or less running wild. So they're climbing trees, they're speaking their minds, they're helping their father, Lord Bayford, with the tenants of Enofe, and that includes building the tenants' homes, like physically doing that labor. In fact, early on in the book, Elodie offers to dig latrines for somebody, if that gives you any indication of what this amazing character is like. Elodie also really enjoys overseeing the imports in the harbor. So even though Enofe is poor and they really have to rely on one another, there's also a lot of happiness. So this isn't a place she's trying to escape. So I just want you to know that. All right. The only person who seems a little out of place in Enofe is Lady Bayford, and that's their stepmother. She's initially presented as a little bit cold. She's very proper, and she's always fussing about when Elodie is doing something unladylike, like wearing breeches. Well, one day, a new ship comes into harbor that Elodie does not recognize. It's very fancy and has this huge coat of arms with a dragon on it. So we discovered that this is a ship from Aurea, or Aurea, not sure how it's pronounced. And surprise, Lord Bayford has made a deal to wed Elodie to Prince Henry of Aurea. Now, it doesn't happen immediately, so this isn't like one of those, oh, I don't want to get married plots. Elodie and Henry do get a chance to write letters to each other over a series of months, and at least through those letters get to know each other a little bit. He seems to be really infatuated with her, even though she does, again, speak her mind maybe a little bit more than like your typical future princess might, at least for this world. All right, but eventually it is time for Elodie and her whole family to board that ship and be on their way to Aurea. Now, they get there after about 2 months at sea, and Aurea is stunning. All right, gorgeous, luscious gardens, farmland, lots of animals, lots of gold. When she gets to her room where they're putting her up in the castle, she talks like there's gold dust in the sheets. It's kind of ridiculous. There's so much food everywhere that it actually makes Elodie uncomfortable because there's so much extra going on in Aurea while her people in Enofe are really hungry. So she's a really good person. But at the same time, she's also really excited to become Aurea's princess with this upcoming wedding, because she knows that one, Enofe is going to get this huge gift of food from Aurea, and two, Prince Henry is quite handsome. Now, Floria, her little sister again, is having the time of her life eating all of the sweets. Floria is about 13. They have a wonderful relationship. And Elodie, meanwhile, is, kind of taking things a little bit slow, trying to learn as much as she can about this country where she's going to have to live. And it is through her curiosity that we start to feel that things are a little off. And, maybe a little strange, starting with no one from the royal family greeted Elodie when they arrived off the boat. They sent a servant, but that was it. And there was this very strange 3 in the morning ceremony where people were wearing masks off in the distance that Elodie and her sister could see from their rooms in the castle. And when Elodie asks Prince Henry about it, he like tries to avoid answering anything. And she's like, this is kind of weird. And then when you couple that with, she sees a woman in another part of the castle. They're both near windows, and she kind of shouts out the window, "Hey, hi, I'm Elodie. We look like we're the same age." And the woman looks terrified. Of course, Elodie thinks, "Oh, I'm just being too loud and too brash," and that frightened her away. But everything kind of adds up to something's not feeling right. And that really hits home that something is not quite right when Elodie has an actual vision. Now she thinks she's too tired and that's why she's hallucinating. But as a reader, something's up. And in this terrifying vision, Elodie sees a former princess, and it is not a pleasant vision. I'll say that. Okay, so as a reader, obviously, things aren't quite as picture perfect as Aurea wants you to believe them to be, or at least wants Elodie and her family to believe them to be. And unfortunately for Elodie, she does not realize this. She's kind of taken in, of course, by Prince Henry's handsomeness, and that idea that she's helping the people of Enofe by making this alliance, until right after the wedding. So the wedding itself, gorgeous, extravaganza, over the top. But then after the wedding, everyone's like, "Hey, we've got this extra ceremony. We're going to go way underground." And all this stuff is happening. And she's like, "This is weird." And then she finds out, and this is not giving anything away because it's in the description right here. Well, it turns out that Aurean princesses, which she now is because she's gotten married, get fed to the local dragon right after the wedding. And that is, of course, to keep the dragon appeased, and not eating the citizens. And also the dragon's magic allows for all of those lush gardens to grow and all of the food to be easily grown. Well, I'm going to stop explaining it now because I don't want to give anything away, but I think that obviously Elodie, it wouldn't be a book if she was okay with just being eaten by a dragon. She is going to do all she can to not only stay alive, but to keep her family safe. And she definitely does not want to just become some damsel that needs to be rescued. She is going to rescue herself. Now, what I enjoyed is that this novel is very aware of the tropes it is playing with. Things like the damsel in distress, the evil stepmother, because maybe there's a lot more to Lady Bayford than meets the eye, and maybe she doesn't know how to show kindness, but there is love. Prince Charming, and of course the trope of slaying the dragon. All right, so there's a lot of action too, which makes this character-driven fantasy a lot of fun to read. All right, so I hope you enjoy Damsel by Evelyn Skye as much as I do if you pick it up. As always, thank you for joining me for this book review.